This thing here?
Yeah, she's got it. No, the other one on my screen was actually my side. Not yours.
Got it. Good morning.
Can you get a still of this thing?
Tamako.
Still of these two.
My name is Greg Sweni. Next to me is my colleague Pilasande Matlagate and another colleague of mine, Simon Spelling, the Rasta sitting there. We are here representing Umzimvubu Farmers Support Network, which is an organization which was established in 2015, and it's a support network. So it's an organization which works with other organizations, working with other organizations which are on the same mission. How it came that we started working on cannabis is because in the area in Mpondoland, Eastern Cape, some communities along Umzimvubu River were sprayed by the South African forces for something like 18 years, and nobody was talking, everybody was quiet, and our people there were dying. The environment was being destroyed, their belongings were destroyed. Because if you have a cannabis field here, next to you, another person have a field of other crops, they will come with helicopters and spray above and destroying all your crops and leave you like that, and nobody would care for that. And during the spraying, like we know that spraying with glyphosate is deadly. It might take time, it might be quick on certain people, but there now, all those years when they were spraying, the place is becoming barren. People are developing all sorts of funny diseases. Their animals, cattle and the rest, they're developing some lumps on the bodies, so many funny diseases. And the spraying changed the whole environment in the area, because it was spraying the water, spraying the herbs which we use as traditional healers and other people. Then as Umzimvubu Farmers Support Network, we jumped in there hooking the other stakeholders who could assist us, like journalists, lawyers, other specialists in Sarsfield doctors. And fortunately, the government stopped spraying. And during that time, fortunately, the laws of South Africa started changing. And now as Umzimvubu Farmers Support Network, we are working with the communities in the area to make them part of the main system. We want to see them one day manufacturing or being part of the manufacturing of these good products you see all over here. And they are really part of it. And we're emphasizing the word from the previous speakers here, that whatever is done here, let's not compete, let's work together, because for such communities where there are no industries, there are no sources of income, and for thousands and thousands of years, they have been using cannabis to live on. Being legal or not legal, they had no choice, because it's a crop which is growing well there, while the other crops don't grow well because of the drought down the valleys there. So we're inviting everybody here, in each and every corner, to come with the skills and help the communities wherever you are and try and lift them. Mostly the people who are using cannabis is because they're in extremes. They can't get jobs. They're far away from all the amenities, no infrastructure. So they really need good Samaritans to come and help them. So after all that, that's when we are very busy now with them, trying to make sure that they are part of the mainstream. Before I hand over to my partner, should have thanked the organizers for inviting us to be part of this good exposure. With us, when we come to a place, we come with our communities, their representatives. In front of us here, we have some of the members from the area, and even here in the around in the stands, communities are there seeing how much can cannabis contribute in terms of medicines, food. Remember where we come from, people were born there also. They used to use cannabis for recreation and medicinal. Now we're seeing that there are so many uses of cannabis. And while we work with them there, stopping the spraying, we're also introducing other cash crops, other methods, without stopping them to grow their poly plant. We're just doing advocacy with them. The work we're doing was assisted by OSF, a foundation in America, which funds activities similar to ours and ours. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'll hand over the microphone to my colleague.
Also, a very good morning to everybody in the room. I am Pilasande Mashakata from the Eastern Cape, based in Tolo, working in Port St. John's with the communities of Umzimvubu. Just a little bit of an addition to what my colleague is saying regarding the glyphosate spraying. It has been a torment for many years. The communities are traumatized. The communities don't want to believe anything about the new law. They don't know anything about the new law because all they have in their minds is helicopters flying over them, people coming and confiscating their ganja. Them being very well aware that this ganja being confiscated is not actually going to the police stations, but is going into the pockets of the police. The terror that people have survived in Mpondoland over years, we could just take it for, it's just helicopters like spraying over them. They're terrified. They don't know how to participate in the industry. Even when we get there, tell them, it might be over. We're not actually sure that it's over because anything can happen with the law. Any day, the government could come around and say, you're allowed to plant only 3 plants a person, 7 plants a person. Mpondoland is not going to plant 3 plants a person. It's going to plant masses of fields. So we are at a point where we are uncertain how Mpondoland is going to be continued to be treated from here. Leading to the government to consider the fact that it is a poison. It has been banned in a lot of countries in the world. A lot of clever countries in the world know how to look after the environment, know how to look after their people. It is toxic to our immune systems, to our animals. We can't stress it enough. And we're hearing developments around Monsanto's and the glyphosate finally being banned. But we can never be too sure. On behalf of the Mpondoland communities, it would be really great if it would actually come to an end. Ricky Stone, on behalf of UFSN, also made a submission to the United Nations Human Rights Commission to call for the ending of spraying of glyphosate over the fields. We are being considered out there in the world. We are being listened to out there in the world. And as for South Africa, our government, we're feeling a little bit failed because this is a very uncertain industry for all of us. We don't know how to proceed from here. This is wonderful, all of this that is in this room. It's great. But where is Mpondoland here? Where are we being represented? We need to take action. Government needs to take it upon themselves to say, okay, this is what's going on now. Let's get our people empowered, because the plant across the board, across industry, textile, medicine, food, nutrition, It's crazy that we are standing here and debating what should be happening to the plant. What should people be doing with their land? People have land, people must use land, people must cultivate, people must process. And we stand here saying that places like the Congo recently have opened up for cultivation without licenses, applying GMPs and allowing farmers to grow and to help and to be assisted by other companies that are equipped or that are able to process further. We need to be processing this plant. We cannot be researching it any further. How much more should we be researching it? Let's research it by allowing people to grow in mass and to process things on site where they are. They've got the space, they've got the, I mean, everybody can learn something new every day. Expertise, come on along, come and empower people. But mostly government. Yes, we are pleading to you and everybody that is influential enough in South Africa to be able to influence the change in these laws so that they speak on behalf of everybody. This industry is big, it's huge. Let's start right there by the grassroots, by the people who have been criminalized, people who have been serving jail time, people who are walking around with criminal records that they don't know what to do with. It must start there. People must be empowered. That's all I'm going to say for today. I hope I haven't left anything out. Public speaking is not entirely my thing, but there is a little bit, I realize that I'm leaving out here, about, there was a breast cancer study that compared about 16 different strains, local, international strains, and Mpondoland strain came out tops in terms of the possibilities to cure cancer cells. And these are the things that need to be seriously taken into consideration by government. Intellectual properties on South African property, on cannabis, and allowing people to just take part. Equally, it's big. There's space for everybody. There's space for cultivating, there's space for processing, there's space for litigation, there's space for learning. Education, we need to emphasize on education. We need to educate. The South African community is traumatized. Imagine for so many years, over 70 years, walking around a criminal if you're growing ganja, if you're using ganja, if you're smoking ganja. Meanwhile, you know, you steam with it, you have a tea for your cough, for your chest pains, and all of a sudden the government turns around and says, oh, okay, let's go on ahead. Everybody can now research for medical or can use for medical. What's with the regulations? Regulations are good if you are putting them in place to protect people, to protect citizens, you know, because ganja is a heavy plant. It needs to be regulated. We agree with that. But let's get to a point whereby we just open it up to everybody. Khulumente, siyacela, consider us. We are here. We are Umzimvubu, and thank you to everyone that's been assisting us. We get a lot of support from everybody. It's incredible. Even in the room, people are asking, how can we help? We don't know how you can help except for influence the laws, regulations. Let's work together. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Let's not start from the industry. Let's start from the cultivation, from the grassroots. Let's fix what we have messed up for over 70 years. Let's fix it. Let's get people empowered. I'm out.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next on the